If you file your marriage green card paperwork today, what would actually happen next? Not the dream version where everything moves fast, and not the nightmare version you read about online at 2 in the morning, but the real step-by-step path your case would take. That is exactly what we are going to walk through together, because one of the biggest sources of stress in the entire immigration process is simply not knowing what comes next or how long it really takes. Hello and welcome. I'm Attorney Joseph Botelho with the Botelho Law Group, immigration and estate planning attorneys serving families across the country. We help people every single day with marriage-based cases, and the question we hear the most, more than anything else, is how long is this going to take? So today we are going to map out the real marriage green card timeline as it stands in 2026, including the parts that the official websites do not make clear. Before we dive in, one important note: every case is different, and immigration timelines are estimates, not promises. The government publishes processing time ranges that shift from month to month and vary widely depending on which office is handling your case. So think of what we cover today as a realistic map, not a guarantee. With that said, let us start at the very beginning. Here's a helpful way to picture the whole journey before we break it down into pieces. Think of the marriage green card process like a relay race with several runners. Each stage hands off to the next, and the race is only as fast as the slowest leg. You cannot reach the finish line until every runner has done their part, and a stumble at any single handoff slows down the entire team. Knowing where each handoff happens is what turns an overwhelming, mysterious process into something you can actually follow and prepare for. So let us meet each runner in order. The marriage green card process usually begins with a petition. If you are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, your spouse files a form called I-130. This is the petition for alien relative. In plain English, this is a document where your spouse tells the government, this person is my husband or wife, and our marriage is real. If you are already living inside the United States and you are eligible, you may also be able to file your green card application, the I-485, at the exact same time. That is called concurrent filing, and it can save you a significant amount of time. So what happens right after you hit send or drop that package into the mail? The first thing you should receive is a receipt notice. This is a piece of paper, often called an I-797, that confirms the government received your case and assigned it a number. Hold on to this. That receipt number is how you will track your case for the entire journey. Most people get these notices within a few weeks of filing. If weeks go by and you haven't heard nothing, that is a sign to double check that everything was delivered correctly. Next comes biometrics. This is a fancy word for fingerprints and a photograph. The government schedules an appointment, usually at a local office, where they take your fingerprints to run background checks. There is nothing to be nervous about here. You are not being interviewed. You simply show up, they capture your prints, and you leave. This appointment often happens within the first couple months after filing, though it varies location by location. Here is a small but real warning about this stage. People sometimes move, change phone numbers, or stop checking the mailbox where their immigration letters arrive. And then they miss the biometrics appointment notice entirely. Missing that appointment can stall your case or even lead to a denial for failing to follow instructions. So from the moment you receive it, treat your mailing address as sacred. If you move, update your address with the government promptly. And check your mailbox like your case depends on it, because in a very real sense, it does. Now, here is something many couples do not realize. When you file your green card application from inside the country, you can usually apply for 2 extra benefits at the same time at no additional cost, although that has changed for the work permit. The first being the work permit, officially called an employment authorization document. This card lets you work legally while your green card is pending. The second is a travel permit, known as advance parole, which can allow you to travel internationally while your case is processing. Now, a word of caution on travel. Leaving the country while a case is pending can be legally risky depending on your history. So please talk to an attorney before you book any international trip. Do not assume the travel permit alone makes every trip safe. How long do these permits take? In recent times, work and travel permits have generally been processed within a few months after filing, though like everything else in immigration, this can change. The key takeaway is that you do not have to put your life completely on hold while you wait for the green card itself. Many people are able to work and support their families during the process. Let us talk about something that scares a lot of applicants, the RFE. Those letters stand for Request for Evidence. If the officer reviewing your case feels that something is missing or unclear, they will mail you a letter asking for more documentation. Now, I want you to hear this clearly. An RFE is not a denial. It is not the government saying no. It is the government saying we need a little bit more before we can say yes. The most common reasons for missing documents, unclear proof that the marriage is genuine, or financial paperwork that needs strengthening. The danger with an RFE is the deadline. These letters come with a strict response window, and if you miss it, your case can be denied. So, if you ever receive one, do not panic, but do act quickly. Let me make that concrete. Imagine a couple who submitted a solid application, but the sponsoring spouse had recently changed jobs, so the income documents looked inconsistent on paper. The officer was not accusing them of anything. The officer simply could not yet confirm the financial requirements was met. So, went a request for evidence. A couple responded with an updated employment letter, recent pay records, and a short explanation of the job change, and the case moved forward. The lesson is that the RFE is often just a gap in the paperwork, not a flaw in your relationship or your eligibility. The people who get hurt by RFEs are usually the ones who panic, freeze, or let the deadline slip by, not the ones who calmly gather what was asked for and send it in on time. This brings us to one of the most important stages, the interview. In 2026, the vast majority of marriage green card cases involve an in-person interview. The officer's job is to confirm that your marriage is real and not arranged solely for the immigration benefits. They may ask about how you met, your daily routines, your living situation, and your future plans. Here is the good news. If your marriage is genuine, you have nothing to fear. You are not expected to remember every tiny detail or answer like robots reciting matching scripts. You simply need to be honest and prepared. Bringing strong documentation like joint bank accounts, a shared lease or mortgage, photos together over time, and proof you built a life together makes this stage far smoother. Let me share a common scenario with details changed for privacy. A couple comes in absolutely terrified of the interview. They have heard horror stories online, but when we sit down and review their lives together, the joint accounts, the lease, the trips, the family photos, it becomes obvious their marriage is exactly what it appears to be. We help them organize their evidence, prepare for the kind of questions officers actually ask, and walk in confidently. The interview lasts about 20 minutes and they walk out approved. The fear was real, but it was based on uncertainty, not on a real problem with their case. After a successful interview, you reach the approval stage. If everything checks out, your case is approved and your green card is produced and mailed to you. If you have been married for less than 2 years at the time of approval, you typically receive what is called a conditional green card, which is valid for 2 years. Before it expires, you will need to file another form to remove those conditions and receive the 10-year green card. If you have been married longer than 2 years at approval, you usually go straight to the 10-year card. Either way, approval is the moment all of that patient pays off. So what is the real timeline from start to finish? Honestly, it depends heavily on your situation and which office handles your case. For a spouse of a U.S. citizen filing from inside the country, many cases move through it roughly a year to a year and a half, though some move faster and some take longer. Cases involving a green card holder spouse or cases processed at the U.S. consulate abroad often take longer because of the additional steps and the visa availability. The single most reliable thing you can do to check the government's official processing times tools using your specific form and office, because those numbers are updated regularly and reflect the real situation better than any general estimate. I want to gently manage expectations here because this is where a lot of frustration comes from. People hear friends say their cousin got approved in 8 months and then they assume their case is broken when it takes longer. But your friend's cousin may have filed in a different city, in a different year, under different staffing levels, with a simpler history. Comparing your timeline to someone else's is like comparing your commute to a friend's in another city. Same general trip, completely different traffic. The honest truth is that patience is part of this process, and the best use of the waiting time is preparation. Keeping copies of everything, organizing your evidence, and getting ready for the interview long before it is scheduled. Now let us talk about the biggest mistakes people make, because avoiding these can save you months. The first is filing an incomplete package, missing a signature, forgetting a required document, or leaving a question blank can trigger delays or RFEs. The second is a weak proof of a genuine marriage. People assume one can sink an otherwise strong case. And fourth, traveling internationally without understanding the risks can in some situations jeopardize the entire application. So when do you actually need a lawyer? You can technically file many of these forms yourself, and some people do. But you should strongly consider professional help if your case has any complications, a prior immigration violation, any criminal history, a previous denial, an earlier marriage that overlaps in confusing ways, or periods where you were out of status. You should also consider help if you simply want the peace of mind of knowing your case is done right the first time. Because in immigration, a mistake does not just cost you money, it can cost you months, or in serious cases, your ability to stay with your family. That is the real marriage green card timeline: filing, receipt notices, biometrics, work and travel permits, the possibility of an RFE, the interview, and finally approval. It is a journey, but it is a journey that millions of families complete successfully every year. And you do not have to walk into it alone. At the Botelho Law Group, we help families across the country navigate marriage green cards, adjustment of status, consular processing, and waivers. If you have questions about your specific situation or you simply want someone experienced in your corner, you can reach us at 508-500-5115. If this video helped clear things up for you, consider subscribing because we break down the immigration process one honest, plain English video at a time. Thank you for watching and take care.